I hate to admit it, but it's finally that time. And it's crazy because I'm saying this with a smile on my face, but I think it's because I'm just happy that California basketball is in a great place. But it's that time. If you've seen the video title and you've seen the thumbnail, you already know this video is about the Kings. And no, this is not Lakers purple in the back. That's not Lakers. That's Kings purple. That's Kings purple. You know why? Because they first in the Pacific, and they some dogs. I ain't even gonna lie to you. The Kings are one of those teams that, again, many people are not talking about with regards to ESPN and Fox Sports 1. They, of course, have their big shows with First Take, Undisputed, all that stuff. The Kings are not one of those teams that's talked about as a contender very regularly. Now, when they are talked about as a contender, it's around more basketball circles, NBA TV talk shows, and things of that nature. For the most part, I haven't really seen a sentiment that the Kings are a contender in the West. And truth be told, all that I've really heard throughout this whole season was Denver and Memphis. Now that Memphis has really kind of dropped off, they don't have their star point guard in Ja right now. The Kings have propelled to number 2 in the Western Conference. Again, like I said, the first in the Pacific. They have a 43-27 record, which is their first winning season since 2005-2006. This team looks like they can be a real legitimate contender in the West. Before we hop into this video, do me a favor. If you are new, drop a sub. If you're not new and you're here returning, let me know in the comments below and drop a like on this video. It will be much, much appreciated. We're on the road to 1,000 subs, and I wouldn't love anything more than to have you along for the ride if you're not along already. But the Sacramento Kings, it pains me to talk about this team. It really does pain me to talk about them because y'all know I'm a Lakers fan. And as part of being a Lakers fan, you take pride in the SoCal teams being the better teams. But over the last couple years, it's been Golden State, and this year Sacramento has taken the reins over Golden State because Golden State, there's some stuff going on there that we'll talk about it another day. The Kings really revamped their roster to not only bolster some great vets that have played winning basketball, and guys like Harrison Barnes and Matthew Dellavedova, who doesn't get too many minutes, but that championship pedigree, it carries some type of weight. Then you got young guys like Terrence Davis, who's a lockdown defender for your guards. You just drafted Keegan Murray. You have Malik Monk in your backcourt. He's a great shooter, and he could turn up in the defensive end sometimes here and there. And then you got the superstar in De'Aaron Fox, and another superstar right next to him in Domantas Sabonis. And yes, I'm calling Domas a superstar because that's what he is at this point. I can't forget Kevin Huerter, and I can't forget younger guys like Kessler Edwards and Keon Ellis. The oldest player on this Kings team is Matthew Dellavedova, who's 32, and the next oldest behind that is Harrison Barnes at 30, which really isn't that old. Of course, more than likely, Dellavedova is off this team this next season, but regardless, the whole point is this team is very young, which means they're poised to be this good for years to come. And we haven't seen a good Sacramento team in years. And when we did, basketball was at its highest peak. I'm sure a lot of you were close to clicking off this video because I called Domas a superstar. And again, I'm going to stand 10 toes on that. He is a superstar. But if you didn't take my word for it and you still don't think so, here's his splits for the year. He's averaging 19 points per game. He's averaging a league-leading 12.5 rebounds per game, 7.2 assists, which is 12th as a power forward. And he's shooting 61.2% from the field, which is 10th in the league. And then Thursday night against the Nets, he broke Otis Thorpe's Sacramento Kings record of single most rebounds during his era in Sacramento. And speaking of that night, he had a 24.21 rebound kind of night. This is one of those things that's been regular this whole year, and it was his 56th double-double this year, which ties the Kings single franchise record, which was set by Tiny Archibald in 72 and 73. Domas also became the first center this season with at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks in the first half of a game, while joining Giannis as the only players with 20 points and 10 boards in an opening half. Not game, a half. In my opinion, Domas sets the tone for the team. He's very, very physical. It's an underrated kind of attribute that he has that not many people talk about. Coupled with that physicality on both offense and defense, he doesn't really get into foul trouble, which really helps him and his team in the long run. We see guys like Triple J who are amazing all-world defenders, but they can get into foul trouble sometimes, and it can hinder not only him but his team because he'll be out the game in the second, third quarter for minutes that he would normally be in the game for, and his team needs him for. Domas is one of the few bigs in the league that I can say without a doubt goes hard from tip to the whoa.
If it sound gay, it's gay, and you gotta say no homo. How I know you not a homo, granddad, if you don't say no homo?
Domas is one of the few centers in the league that I could tell you plays as hard as he possibly can from the start of the game to the end of the game each and every night that he plays. Now, besides Domas, you still have De'Aaron Fox, one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player in the league with the ball in his hands. He's not only elevated with regards to his shooting, but this dude, when he gets to the rim, his floater is such a powerful weapon, and his stop and pop is so crazy right now that I've seen each and every game that he's gotten to his spot a little bit below the free throw line, but a little bit above the restricted area. Anytime he got to that spot, it was probably going to be a floater, stop and pop, something of that nature. And I watched a couple games this year where he's done that play after play after possession after possession after possession. Regardless if he made it or not, it was a wide open shot every single time because he's matching his speed with the ability to stop on a dime. And De'Aaron Fox is just coming together to be one of the best point guards in the league, and I'm loving it. But I'm also not loving the fact that he's not really getting much shine, much noise. Again, this is Sacramento, so that's probably why they're in the same state as LA and Golden State. So it might be a little bit hard to fight for, you know, that extra little media attention and stuff like that. But regardless, De'Aaron Fox should be talked about as one of the best point guards in this league. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't really want to gloat on the Kings too much, and it's probably my Californian pride coming out. I'm one of the fans of a team that's in the bottom of the conference that thinks we might want to see Sacramento in the first round because I think that's the easiest team. But I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing that makes this team look easy is the lack of playoff experience. Anything other than that, I don't really think you have a legitimate argument about the bottom teams beating them in the first round, whether that's Golden State, whether that's Minnesota, whether that's LA. Doesn't even matter if these teams are healthy. I still think the Kings are a better team cohesively than all three of those teams. And those were the three main fan bases. Of course, I'm one of them with regard to the Laker fan base that has said we want Sacramento because we think Sacramento is not that strong. And I'm going to be honest, candidly, no bias, no none of that. Sacramento is a very strong team, if not the strongest team in the West other than Denver. Denver is stronger because they've been together longer. They're actually, honestly, if you look at it, they might be the older version of the Kings, whereas you can see the Kings will be where Denver is in the next couple years. But other than Denver, there's no other team that's this cohesive. And that's crazy to say, especially when you have the Warriors in your conference, a team that just came off of a championship run. But they're that good. They really are that good. They're young. They're a team that's hungry, and you see it each and every night. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you looked at their roster and their cap space, they have room to go get somebody real serious this offseason. So don't sleep on them getting or not getting a superstar during free agency this year because it can very well happen looking at their roster, looking at who's getting paid the most. De'Aaron Fox is getting paid $28 million a year. The next closest is Domas with 18.5, and you got Harrison Barnes with 18.3, which really isn't too big of paychecks if you're really thinking about the grand scheme of things. I'm pretty confident in saying they have one more max slot. De'Aaron Fox has one of those slots. I'm pretty sure they have one more. So with that being said, be careful for them. You still got Keegan Murray, who has already started this year very, very good. He could have been a rookie of the year if, you know, Paolo Banchero wasn't playing the way he was, and if Jalen Williams wasn't the next coming superstar, and if Jalen Williams wasn't going to win it. Again, he's winning the rookie of the year. But regardless, Keegan Murray is one of those guys that can be talked about in that conversation. If Paolo and J-Dub were a year younger, Keegan Murray is taking away this rookie of the year without a question. Without a question. And I'm going to be honest, this dude with a 6'8" frame that can shoot the ball, if he gets better on defense and gets better at handling and playmaking, it's going to be crazy in Sacramento. I'm not going to lie to you. But that's all I got for you guys in this one with regards to the Kings. Let me know what you guys think about them below. If you are a Sacramento fan, drop a sub if you're new. And until next time, it is your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories and debates on the tube. And as always, I'm out. Peace.